This video is here to help you to understand how HappyForce works, how it works from the viewpoint of administrators of the account, as well as the viewpoint of employees using the platform. Before we get into the technical aspects of the video and how to actually execute questions, comments, and retrieving feedback, we need to understand why HappyForce. The starting point is that employees talk about important things about your company, but you as a manager or administrator don't have access to these conversations as they're kept private between employees. So communication between employees and the company is essentially broken. In the workplace, issues arise every day, and employee surveys only provide a partial and static picture of what's going on. They're costly to prepare, to answer, and to process. The lack of communication and misunderstanding lead to employee disengagement, lower productivity, and higher turnover. With an honest and transparent platform like HappyForce, one can actually initiate these conversations with employees. With anonymous feedback tools and the combination of poll surveys, HappyForce bases itself on active listening, instead of making employees respond to close-ended questions on questionnaires and taking the daily pulse of how they are doing. Now let's have a look at how the platform works for administrators and managers. The HappyForce dashboard gives administrators and managers insights on how the company is doing. The dashboard gives visualization of employee daily feedback, the trending topics, employees' interaction, question and answers, and employees' happiness and well-being evolution. Before learning the ins and outs of the platform, the most important thing to do first is to set up the company hierarchy. This will determine the filter that will be used to identify the different areas and groups of the organization and how they filter and appear on the dashboard. As you can see, for HappyForce, our company hierarchy has been divided by the geographical location in which our employees are based in. Other companies may have marketing and sales department, IT department, or divide the organization whatever suits them best. So this is the dashboard. As you can see, we have two key metrics: the activation, which measures the number of employees invited and their activation to the platform, as well as the participation. Of those active employees, which of them participate daily in the last 7 days and the last month. The powerful thing about HappyForce is that we can filter by employees. We can filter by department or by groups and get information of these specific groups in order to see how they're doing and be able to compare them to other groups in the organization. At first glance, we also see the well-being evolution, which has been collected and graphed based on employees' feedback. This is further supported by a more detailed account, which specifies exactly the amount of times employees voted of how they feel in the workplace. In order to retrieve this information in Excel format, you just have to click this icon here and you'll receive it in your email in a few seconds. By configuring this section, you can see all the previously explained metrics, but for each of the months in the past, allowing to track progress and make comparisons. In the comments section, I can see even more detail on the breakdown of the feedback received from employees. Once again, in this section, we can also filter by departments and groups to see how each group is doing individually. To see what's really important, I can filter comments by popularity, allowing me to see the comments with the greatest number of interactions, something that we highly encourage. We can also filter comments by the emotion that employees vote when they leave their daily comment, or also based on the type of feedback that is left. For example, if I filter by this type of feedback, I can see all the related comments left. Lastly, we have a cloud of tags which indicate us in a very quick and efficient manner what topics are being mostly discussed in the organization. The tags are associated to a color, which indicates if they talk about those tags positively or negatively. By pressing them, I can see all the comments relating to these specific tags. Since HappyForce is a bidirectional communication tool, we have the question and announcements section. In the question sections, we seek the companies to be able to collect information quickly in real time about their employees. To launch a question, we have 3 options. We have the option to launch an open-ended question, a multiple choice question, or an opinion scale question, where employees are asked to evaluate between 1 and 10 about specific topics. For example, if I launch an open-ended question where I ask employees how they feel their workload is at the moment in the workplace, I have the option to launch the question between two specific dates or set it on a specific schedule, daily, weekly, monthly, or every year. This third step also allows us to configure which are the recipients of the questions, if it's everyone activated on Happy Force, or if it's a specific audience, so a specific area or department would you like to ask the questions to. I also have the option to configure the question as a mandatory question, where employees won't be able to skip the question, or configure as a private question, as the question will go to a private channel to the administrators and will not be displayed for other employees to see. After all those steps, you have the summary to review it, and then you can launch and create the question. In the questions sections, we can see the questions that have been scheduled or pre-programmed. We can always edit them before the launch, as well as the questions that have already passed. And we can see the answers and the distribution of votes and the amount of participants of this specific question. If it's a recurring question, weekly, monthly, or yearly, we can also see the change in the progress of the question over time. By clicking this red button, you can choose and see the default data that we have created for questions to be used for your organization. These can use to be measured commitment, team spirit, or formation in the organization. In order to launch an announcement, we also have 5 simple steps, just like in the question section. The announcements also support uploading of hyperlinks, uploading of documents and photos to the announcements. The announcement has configuration onto the date of visibility of the announcement and for how many days it'll be posted, as well as to the recipients that will receive the announcement, everyone activated on the platform or a specific audience. Other options to configure are if employees receive notifications with the announcement, as well as the option to highlight the announcement to pin the message at the beginning so people don't miss it. Once we review the summary of the announcement, we are ready to publish it. Overall, the use of these tools will help the company to make better decisions by consulting their employees, to discover the areas of improvement of the organization, foster corporate culture, take the pulse of how change is experienced in the organization, improve commitment, and foresee possible risk. For any extra support, please don't hesitate to contact the yellow icon on the right left corner, where our experts will be able to answer any questions you may have.